Hello everyone, it's me Cyrus Webb here with another video vlog, and this week I am bringing you a message that is not only inspiring but on a personal note is a little sad for me. On Thursday, May the 22nd, my grandmother, Quattie Webb, died at the age of 90 at 4:40 p.m. Central Time. Being with her over the past years of my life has definitely, I think, made me a stronger individual, but also an individual that really appreciates life more. She taught me so many great lessons over the years, as she did with so many other people. And one of those great lessons is one that I think I will cherish the most from her life, and that is that there's enough love for all. I know a lot of times we like to be selfish with those that we love. But my grandmother, who we all affectionately called Aunt Quitty, really showed me that she had enough love for so many people, and there were so many people who loved her. In January 2011, 3 years ago, I had the privilege of giving her her very first radio interview on our program, Conversations Live. I wanted to share that message with you because it was not only inspiring for me, but also I think it's inspiring for so many people about not only the legacy that we are creating today, but also the impact that we can make on the world and how the world can really help us to rise up to be the best of ourselves. Here is that conversation with my grandmother, Quattie Webb. Hope you enjoy it. I'll be back with my final thoughts after this.
As I mentioned, though, today we're kicking off a brand new series here on our program called Living History. A lot of times in February that's recognized as Black History Month, but I got to thinking about there are individuals of all backgrounds that are just learning about their history and learning to appreciate those in their midst. In order to kick this off, I thought no better way than to start so with my grandmother, my 87-year-old grandmother. She'll be turning 88 this year. Her name is Quattie Webb. For many of her grandchildren, we all call her Aunt Quitty. She's welcoming us here on the program today to talk a little bit about her story. Aunt Quitty, welcome to Conversations Live.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you agreed to do this with me. I mean, it's the first time in the 7 years I've been on the air that you've been with us. I was telling you before we went live, actually a little bit before I went on the air this evening, that I mean your life in itself, just the time span that you've lived through is remarkable. I mean, in 1923 when you were born, Calvin Coolidge was our president, actually our 30th president of the United States. Since then, we've had 14 additional presidents, including the election of the first black president, Barack Obama. When you look back over your life, Aunt Quitty, what stands out to you the most as things that you remember and that you recall?
Well, what stands out in my life the most is how good God is to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and your faith has really been, I mean, a big part of your life. I mean, you've been through a lot of things that a lot of individuals, including myself, couldn't really relate to. I mean, you've lost both parents, your mother and father. You've had to bury two children, and then of course you lost your husband too. Do you think that it's your faith that has really gotten you through all of that? I mean, regardless of the things that may have been making news throughout your life, that through your personal life, do you think it's your faith that's gotten you through?
Well, I know my faith had a great deal to do with it, but it was the Lord that brought me through. I always, one scripture that I always went to when I had trouble, and that's the 28th chapter, the 8th and 28th chapter of Romans. I said, we know that all things work together for good for those that love the Lord, called according to his purpose, and I know I love the Lord, and I know the Lord loves me.
Right.
And I know he knows all things. He know I loved him. And look like that would give me more release than anything else I could think about.
Right. Now, there have been some great things that have happened over the years. America has also, this country has also seen some very dark chapters. When you look at one of the issues that has gotten a lot of attention, even in the election of our newest president, and that's racism. I mean, was racism something that you were really aware of when you were growing up? Did you see a lot of people hating you just because of the color of your skin?
Oh, yes, I saw plenty of that, but I was taught to just go on and put it behind me. And it was hard sometimes, but still the Lord helped me through that.
Right, right, and we definitely have lost some influential individuals over the years. You and I were talking about before I went on here. People like Martin Luther King, who seem to have a purpose for that. People who fought for freedom, like Rosa Parks, who we hear a lot about. But even presidents like John F. Kennedy. That is the only president that you have a painting of in your home, and that is John F. Kennedy. What was it about him that you felt like made him so remarkable?
Well, he was really the first president that I ever really just paid attention to. And in his talk, I just enjoyed the thing that I believe that he said that I believe, that he was trying to do. And I still believe to the day that he was trying to do that.
Right, right. For those that are just joining us, you're listening to Conversations Live. I'm honored to be speaking with my grandmother, Quattie Webb. She's here talking a little bit about her life and some of the things that she's seen. And Quattie, another thing I want to talk to you about, because, and I'm guilty of this too, and I talk about this on the show, we don't think a whole lot about where we have come from, because we have so many things in front of us that we take a lot of things for granted. I know I've done it in my life as well. But why do you feel like it's important for us never to forget where we have come from, whether it's a race of people or as a country?
Well, to my saying, we have come from such a long way, so we can't forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why I think it's so important that we talk to individuals like you that have lived through, some of the things that a lot of us, can't really even imagine. And I think, and that's why we really on this program this month in February, we really want people to focus on those history makers in their own family. We hear about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and all these other individuals, but it's individuals like my grandmother and individuals in other families that have lived a remarkable life that really we have a lot to be proud of, not only as a race of people, regardless of what race that is, but also as a country, because that's what makes this country such a great thing. Well, and Quattie, thank you so much for sharing with us. I really appreciate you sharing a part of your story with our listeners.
You're welcome.
I hope you were able to get something out of that conversation with my grandmother that will help you as you look at your own life. One of the things I thought about is to really be present in the day, to be able to appreciate the moment and what's going on in our lives and understand our role in it. My grandmother has understood the importance of not only realizing the importance of the past, but learning from it and using it as she moves forward. She also, I think, has taught me, and I think she shared it a little bit in that conversation, about the importance of not forgetting. I mean, even though I know in my own life I try to move past things that have happened, but it's important not to forget them, but to use them as stepping stones as we move forward. It's going to be a sad time for me going throughout the rest of these coming days as we are dealing not only with the loss of my grandmother, but also I think the loss of an inspiring force in the world. But one thing I guarantee you it will do, and that is to reinforce to me, and I hope to others, the importance of making each and every moment count. My grandmother did that each and every day of her life, up until the end of her life, and I hope that we will all be able to do the same thing. Why don't you share with me how you are making your lives count? Shoot me an email at the email you see below, or you can always reach me at cyruswebbpresents.com. Until next time, make sure you show someone that you love that you do love them, and make sure that you're doing your part to make the world a better place.